Okay, what's up YouTube? Today we are going to be reviewing the book Salem's Lot. To make it short and sweet, yes, this book was a 5 out of 5. Very eerie, very good, very horror. Now, I want to jump into, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't read it, get out of here, or if you just don't care about spoilers, stay. But let's jump into my favorite scene. Let's just keep it here, boom. My favorite scene was when Barlow is at Matt Petrie's house and he's confronting Father Collingham. Like they're just, confronted with the main antagonist of the story. And to paint the picture, Father Collingham is holding his crucifix up and it's shining bright, with the glory of God, and it's repelling Barlow, right? It's working. But as Barlow slowly walks towards him, he noticed that the crucifix it's dimming, it's losing its faith, and so he starts walking closer and closer to Father Collingham, and eventually grabs him by the shoulder, and the crucifix dies out. He loses his faith. Now, what do I think that represents is basically, is your religion just a ritual? Or is it the actual worldview that you believe in? Because as he's confronted with the very evil that was saving, the very evil that God can save them from, doesn't have to, but he can, will their faith hold up, as he's being gripped by the shoulders of Barlow? His faith dies out, and he is scared, and he doesn't believe anymore that God can save them from this situation. So I think that's a very interesting scene, the way Stephen King portrays that, his crucifix dies out. And then after that scene, Father Collingham is contaminated, right? And he can no longer enter the churches anymore. And I think it's even said in the book, it is related, and it is just related to the way Cain from the Bible no longer is in the glory of God after he kills his brother Abel, and he's forced to wander the rest of his days. Just like that, Father Collingham is no longer able to enter the churches, and he's forced to live out the rest of his days, without the glory of God. So I think that scene was insane, the way it portrays that. Is it just a ritual, or do you believe in what you believe? Any religion. What else? Oh yeah. I got this quote from it's a quote from the relationship of Anne Norton, who's the mother, and Susan Norton, who's the daughter. It's from page 40, and it says, "In the end, you always crashed against the unspoken barricades of their love, like the walls of a padded cell." And I really think it shows, because Anne Norton is a very controlling mother, and she is controlling Susan in a lot of aspects of her life, and almost smothering her sense of individualism. And I think it's relatable because a lot of people can feel that sometimes their parents' love was a little crushing and a little bit smothering. So I think that was a really good quote that a lot of people could relate to. And it's one of the main cast's relationship with one of her parents. So I thought that was a cool quote. Let's talk about what else I didn't expect from this book. First off, the ending. I had no idea how it was going to end. It was insane the way Stephen King handled the main cast. He was ruthless with them. Again, it's going to be spoilers, so the way Susan just dies, I thought she was going to make it to the end for sure. Maybe some of the other cast, I was expecting to die off, but Susan, and how early it kind of happens. We're not even at the final confrontation, and she's already dead. And then the way Jimmy has his death with the false stairs was just, I didn't expect that either. Just the stairs aren't there, and there's knives at the bottom, and he falls into the knives. And then also Matt dies as well. So it's I didn't expect it to just be Ben and Mark in the final confrontation, and I didn't even know if they were going to win. It was so well done with Stephen King wrote that. It was insane. very having my hands sweaty, and holy, like, I didn't know how it was gonna end. The epilogue ended in a very ambiguous way. I think personally that I want to say all the vampires are dead, but again, we don't know. I think personally that, fuck it, all of them are dead, and Ben got him with the fire. But wait, I don't know if I already said this, but the only complaint I have is how small this paperback copy is. So if you're looking to pick up this book, maybe don't get this one. I didn't like how, like, my wrists were hurting when I did this. I mean, I broke the spine, so, like, that worked, but still, it's a really small paperback. But yeah, that scene with Father Collingham was insane. You know, he is just forced to wander after that, and that's that. He's got to go. But the way Ben gets, well, let's talk about the ending. The way Ben gets Barlow, and the way Mark Petrie almost sells that entire thing after being such a stable character, even though he's a kid. He's such like a stable character, and like, you know, escaping Straker right before Susan dies. He's just calm, collected, and he is Houdini. And he escapes and pretty much gets Stryker. I think he is the one that kills him. But then at the end, he almost sells and messes up the confrontation with Barlow. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this is the moment he cracks, I'm going to be upset. I thought he might die, but killing Mark would have been not cool. Not cool. But yeah, this book was insane. 5 out of 5. If you have any recommendations of Stephen King, let me know, because this is the only book I've read, but I have The Gunslinger, but I don't know if I want to jump into that whole series. I've read like most of it. I think I stopped at the like LSD trip part, and I was like, what's going on? But some more standalone of Stephen King, let me know. I've seen the movie Misery. I feel like the book would be insane. Yeah, let me know.